from the public? Yes. Can you introduce yourself?
Sam Moore from Wind Valley Drive. Last time I was here, last meeting, I asked that someone look into contacting the state to reduce the speed limit past Wind Valley Drive, past St. Lucie Church, past that new old folks home. It's currently 50 miles an hour, which is the fastest in all of Middlefield. That highway passes Wind Valley Drive, probably 200 homes up that way. I think it's too fast. So at the last meeting, someone was supposed to contact the state from the council and find out how that's done. I was wondering if that happened.
So I guess if we had done what I'd asked, you wouldn't have to be here tonight.
Well,
I want to make sure we got back.
Question, but
I want to make sure we got back because we did take action on the request. So Dan, if you could, we contacted ODOT. The streets committee looked at the condition of your road and the cost. So we've got action on both of those.
Yeah, we contacted the state, and the state said that the speed limit that is on that road is they're satisfied with because it meets the requirements of an urban residential district, and that if the village had any interest in looking at changing that speed limit or trying to convince the state that that speed limit could be changed, they would have to have an engineer's report done. The engineer report would cost the village about $3,500 to do, and that would not guarantee that the state would do anything other than what the state's doing currently. So it didn't sound like it was something that was going to be something that would be done very easily. So that's kind of where we're at with that. There's quite a cost involved with doing that.
Well, the concern is with the way that the conversation went, you can do that, but you're probably wasting your money to do it.
Correct.
Your answer is going to be the same after the study, but you would have to do a study even to obtain a second conversation.
Well, that's ridiculous. To begin with, the 50 mile an hour speed limit starts exactly 0.6 miles to the intersection of 528 a quarter of that mile, a quarter of that distance is from 50, the speed limit sign past Wind Valley Drive, past all those homes. Now, I apologize for only being here 12 years. I don't know how long that sign's been up there. It's 50. But my guess is it was 50 prior to Wind Valley Drive being put in. Probably before the church was put in. And certainly before this new old folks home was put in. I think 50 is far too fast to go past those homes. I don't understand why it can't be down to 35 all the way down that stoplight, just like it is in the rest of the city.
One of the problems down through there is a majority of the road down through there is in the township, it's not in the village, so we don't have jurisdiction.
Well, the old folks home is annexed to the village.
Not the road though.
The church is, and so is Wind Valley Drive. So I think the village has some vested interest in making sure the people down that way are safe. At the moment, they are not. I pull out at Wind Valley Drive all the time. People try to pass up buggies going 50 miles an hour, and I'm turning right into their headlights. It's dangerous.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't know how to get to what you want. So I guess if council, we can talk again about investment in engineering survey. That's entirely up to council. We just don't have the authority to do what we'd like. If it was our,
I understand it's not your authority.
Right.
But I think they gave you the easy answer and you took it.
No, they did.
They gave you the brush off.
Well, that's what the state does. So I mean, tell me hard. Tell me
When St. Lucie's went in, they were required to do a traffic impact study to provide the information of the additional traffic that would be coming in and out of that facility onto that roadway. So they did a very small study based on just their traffic. And it didn't warrant a reduction in speed. They not only had to do that for the village, but they had to do it for the county and the state. And it's a standard ODOT procedure to require an engineering study to change the speed limit of it, and what that would involve would be traffic counts and the number of houses, and not only of that area, but all of the outlying areas that you're talking about with Red Valley coming into it. And they have to put that in a report.
6/10 of a mile highway. 6/10 of a mile. From that speed limit sign that goes to 50 down to the stoplight. 6/10 of a mile.
Right.
And we'll get their stoplight exactly 15 seconds sooner.
I understand what you're saying, but what happens is that half of that road is in the village, and the other half is in the township. So the county and the state governs on the control of that speed limit, and the only way you can warrant that for accidents and for insurance purposes is to provide the right information to them to show that it warrants a reduction in speed.
As soon as someone was killed out there, we'll be talking about it again.
There's something senator that had looked it up with it. Should have asked. I don't know. Obviously, we could raise the issue, though.
And you also, you said you had information about Glen Valley Drive itself?
Yeah, I can touch on that if you want, Mr. Chairman of the Streets Committee now. And actually, talking on the Streets Committee last meeting, I think quite a few of the members were prepared to start work in Glen Valley in 3 phases, which is going to cost about $1 million over a 3-year program. And I live in Glen Valley, as you know, but we have another pressing need on Sperry, which is going to cost, what is that one, $350,000?
For Sperry, it's 1.6 million.
That's one total.
Yeah.
So with the amount of money we have available to work on streets right now and with the low income, I suggested I think Sperry is a higher priority than Glen Valley right now because we can't afford to do both of them. And so we decided to work on Sperry this year and table Glen Valley for 1 year and look at it again next year. But what I've asked is Charlie to go in there after this winter and the plows, pulling up the hot mix we put down and repatch all the cracks and the holes and, make it as good as it can be. But to spend $1 million on that road right now when Sperry's in worse condition, we really just don't have the budget for it. So right now, Glen Valley's tabled for 1 year, or that's what we decided at the end of that meeting. And I live there too, but, $1 million is $1 million, and it's a lot of money.
I'll let people know.
Yeah, I mean, we had talked about, doing a blacktop versus concrete, but blacktop over concrete doesn't work, and it's, that would be less expensive, but, to truly fix it, you gotta redo the whole concrete, and it's just $1 million. The water treatment plant, wastewater, the rooms we have on those, I mean.
Well, I can tell you that I live down towards the end where the speed is good. But that condition, that road is like cancer, it's sweaty. So unless there's some preventive maintenance down that way where the road is still not torn up, we'll be talking about this again.
Well, I think the back end will not deteriorate like the front end because.
It's starting to.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be as bad because the engineering was different on those 2 sections of road. As far as, and Charlie can talk more about that, but we put it right on the clay and then later we put down more of a fill with the gravel and, that back end hopefully. But when we do the hot mix in the spring, they'll look at the entire road, obviously.
It needs to be listed as priority. We need a budget for it. We just haven't got the ability to do that this year, but we'll make sure it's good. Anyone else?
Yeah, Charles Henderson, good for you. Last year I had brought up an issue about getting an ordinance in the village about cell phone usage while people were driving. I was told this was going to be looked into. Has anything developed on this yet? Because with me driving for pizza delivery, I see it getting worse and worse out there. I've almost been hit within the last month 7 times by people on cell phones, texting and talking on the cell phones, not paying attention. I mean, can we somehow get this moved to where we can get an ordinance in Middlefield? I mean, I know they have one in parts of Cleveland, going down 322 through Lyndhurst and one other section down there. They have signs up saying that they do have a cell phone ordinance.
Oh,
You want to address?
I wouldn't mind addressing this question, just my thoughts.
I've done nothing, Charles, to answer that question. I wasn't aware it was brought up.
Oh yeah, this is when Phil.
I'm saying I wasn't.
Yeah,
We haven't talked about this year. I can tell you.
I think it was brought up as a suggestion once, but I don't think council really said they were going to do anything about it. But in my own personal opinion is, I think it's dangerous when, or not necessarily dangerous, but very confusing when one community to the next has a different law in regards to that kind of thing.
Right.
And even though, like Senator Eklund said, some things are left better at the local level, I think that ought to be a state thing. health device, you know, the Canvas, whatever that's called.
Yeah, the Bluetooth, right, I understand.
That kind of thing I think is better. I don't like texting with you, but, you know, I mean, I'm in sales and I'm on the phone all day long when I'm in my car. I would vote no against a law like that personally. I understand what other people might vote yes, but I would vote no.
And like I said, I mean, it's not the adults, it's the high school kids mostly I've always had run-ins with, you know, not paying attention. Okay, one of my other things I want to know about is the crosswalk up here on 87 Thompson, if I'm correct. Do we have signs up there saying that we do have a crosswalk?
Something where it goes to high school?
Yeah, or not the, yeah, right up here on 87
Johnson?
Johnson, I mean, yeah. Because
No, it's not Johnson.
Oh, no.